In this video, I will show you what is new in Neets Project Designer 1.8. I will introduce you to updates such as expansion over local area network, Barco ClickShare support, addition of Neets Audio Amplifier 2.25, improvements to project documentation, and many other updates to the project designer. With Neets, you have the possibility to expand your control system. With Neets Expansion Bus, you can add keypads, level controls, and extra ports with the expansion module. You can get more RS-232 ports and I/Os with Neets switching relays and amplifiers. And with Project Designer 1.8, you can now expand your control system with other Neets control systems via your local area network. Let me show you how easy it is to set up. Here I have opened up a new Sierra 2 project. In the device list, you can now find other Neets control systems. To add an Echo Plus, just drag it to the connection diagram and enter the serial number of the control system. That's it. There is no need to configure IP addresses as the communication is done via multicast. You can now simply drag devices to these new ports. And if you have a look in Functions, you can see the Echo Plus as an extra keypad. You can add even more control systems or NEB keypads to extend your system. Remember that adding another control system will not increase the amount of graphical interface available. The main control system will only have one graphical user interface. Neets Project Designer 1.8 has made it easy to integrate Barco ClickShare into Neets projects. Neets will now be able to detect when ClickShare is activated and automatically power up your system and select the ClickShare source. Changing source on the Neets control system still works as normal. You can always get back to ClickShare with a single click on the ClickShare button. Neets will also detect when ClickShare is disconnected, and after a user-specified time, the control system will switch back to a previous source or switch the system off. Currently, Neets Project Designer has support for the CSM1, CSC1, and the CSE200. Let me show you how easy it is to integrate ClickShare in your project. I have opened a Neets project, and you can see that it already has a ClickShare source button. Currently, this button needs to be pressed manually to set the correct source on the projector and amplifier. To change this, go to the System Overview and find a ClickShare device in the device list and drag it onto the connection diagram. You will be prompted for the ClickShare login credentials. For now, I will use the default. Remember also to enter the IP address of your ClickShare unit. To configure the ClickShare unit, you need to go to Functions. You now have a ClickShare interface available. There are two ClickShare events that you need to configure. The first event is what happens when ClickShare is active. Here you need to link your ClickShare source button. You can drag in a link element, or you can simply click on the event and link it together with your ClickShare button. The second event is what happens when no presentation is active for a specified amount of time. Here you need to link your off button. Now the inactive event only powers off the system if it was powered on by the ClickShare active event. If the system was already powered on when ClickShare was activated, then the system will return to the last active source when the inactive event is triggered. If you always want to power off the system when ClickShare is inactive, then enable Always Power Off. Neets Audio Amplifier 2.25 has been added to the Project Designer 1.8. You can find it in the device list. And like adding Neets relays or expanding with Neets control systems, you only need to enter the serial number when adding the amplifier. When added, you can easily add devices to the 2 RS-232 ports and 4 I/Os. Neets Project Designer 1.8 has improved project documentation. Now you can automatically generate a Word document with all the information from the project. You can easily add your company logo and contact details. And by getting the documentation in a Word format, you can easily add or modify the documentation to your need. The documentation is also available in PDF format, or you can export diagrams, labels, and graphical pages as previously. As a new feature in Project Designer, it is now possible to separate buttons into groups. This is perfect if you want to control 2 or more devices from a single control system. Let me show you how to set up button groups in Project Designer. Here I have opened a project with 2 separate projectors connected, and I would like to split the buttons up in groups. So I will select Define Button Groups from the ribbon and create a new group. This brings up a window where you can select the buttons that should be in the group. You just need to click the buttons. Finish by clicking OK. You do the same steps for the next group. The buttons are now divided up in groups, and the indication of source and off status will be separated for each group. In Neets Project Designer 1.8, LED settings and whitelist has been added to control system settings. Let me show you how they work. Here I have opened a new Echo Plus project. To edit the LED settings, select the control system and find LED settings in the properties. Here you can easily change the LED behavior, and for control systems that support multiple LED colors, you can change these as well. And at the bottom of the list, you can save, load, or reset the LED settings. For the whitelist, you find it just above the LED settings. Whitelist is used to limit access to the control system's graphical user interface. You can allow access to IP addresses, MAC addresses, or lock access with a dynamic time limit. You can continue to add up to 5 items to this list. From Neets Project Designer 1.8, it is now possible to add multiple levels to one button or slider, even if the levels use different ranges. Furthermore, you can now select when buttons should be active. You may want to only enable certain buttons when the system is powered on, or disable buttons when the system is powered off. This can now be set from the ribbon in Functions. Project Designer is now also able to automatically select the active button. Until now, handling of a graphical button state had to be done manually. Now Neets adds the same automation as the physical buttons, so the states on graphical buttons are now automatically changed when a button is pressed, making it much easier to make a great-looking user interface. Feedback has also been updated in Project Designer 1.8. Each device that has support for feedback will now automatically have a box in Feedback. When you select a device feedback box, you will have a list of feedback conditions for this device. Furthermore, there is now an option to enable auto feedback, making the feedback all automatic for that selected device. System Events has also been added, making it possible to create an auto shutdown event with a system idle condition. Neets Project Designer 1.8 also includes support for Cisco SX series with full phonebook integration. And Neets Project Designer 1.8 includes an optimization of our web engine, improving the speed of graphical interface when working with sliders, page change, and progress indication. Finally, the Neets Project Designer 1.8 turns to the dark side. A new dark theme has been added after many requests from our users. To change the theme, select the desired theme in the options and restart Project Designer. To see the full list of changes and improvements in Neets Project Designer 1.8, please see the release note. Thank you for watching. To learn more, please visit neets.dk.